DestinationDionna. I'm Deanna, love guide to all and kept wife strategist to the women I'm called to serve. Please consider my channel your self-help learning library for love. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for our weekly coaching gem, where I give guidance to elevate your love experience. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., tune in for Sounds About Wife, where I give my unique wife perspective and prepare professional women like you to become kept wives. So hit that subscribe button and let's start this love journey together. See you soon, my loves. Welcome to this episode of Sounds About Wife. I am Deanna, the Kept Wife Strategist. Let me go ahead and just tell you what most people won't. Love will check you completely. And if you flinch every time correction is offered, you'll never make it to covenant. And if you're already married, because I know I have my already marrieds, you'll never make it past surface level if you can't accept correction. So in today's episode, we're talking about why correction is not rejection. It's actually a gift. And by the end of the episode, here's what I promise. You will understand why love with accountability is why love without accountability is just emotional codependence, how feminine maturity helps you receive truth without shutting down, and 3, why the woman who wants deep love must first become a woman of deep growth. So whether you're praying for partnership or you're trying to protect the one you've already said yes to, this conversation will literally check your ego and cleanse your lens so you can have a kepty one. So let me get us anchored first in a spiritual word, right? Proverbs chapter 12, verse 1 says, "Whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid." That's not me, okay? That's the Bible. The Bible said that. Correction is literally one of the highest forms of love. But if your nervous system still interprets like feedback as an attack, then you're going to stay in defense mode, even when someone's trying to help you grow. And let me just say, defense it's not divine. Okay. So let's unpack what I've promised you'll get out of today's lesson. Love without accountability is just emotional codependence. So whether you're dating, engaged, or married, love without feedback literally becomes performance, right? Accountability is what keeps love honest, okay? It's what keeps you from getting lost in your fantasy while neglecting your foundation. If you can't have hard conversations, you're not in a relationship, okay? You're in avoidance. And that goes for the single woman and for the wife. And let me give you like my own little story about this, right? Being that I am a coach, a love coach at that, right? One would think my emotional intelligence, my maturity, my communication level, right? Top tier. That does not mean in my relationship, I am the law. That does not mean when it comes to my relationship, I know everything. Yes, I'm an expert in my field, and that is what I do. But who I am is Will's wife, right? So that means that I have to accept correction from my husband. And what I found, right, we are coming up on 3 years in February. Ooh, time flies when you're having a good time. But what I have found is the more that I can actually receive his correction without defense, without offense, he more freely gives it. And I benefit from it because I get better. I get better. And yeah, it can be difficult sometimes when you're going through something and someone has to tell you, like, that ain't the best way, or you made a wrong turn, or that wasn't the best way you could have did that, or I didn't appreciate you doing that. We need that, right? This is a constant evolution. We are constantly becoming our best self. You're only going to get that if you're getting feedback. And the person that you're in relationship with, they're the closest one to you. They are literally a mirror of how you are showing up. So you need to be open to seeing it, right? Now, the second promise I made talked about feminine maturity, right? How it helps you receive truth without shutting down. So growth doesn't always sound sweet, but it is sacred. You have to be able to listen without lashing out. When a keeper corrects you in love, that's not an insult. You literally need to see it as an investment, right? We're talking about men who have a spiritual foundation, right? So they take their leadership seriously. They do not want you out here running amok. You are a representation of them. So if they see something that's out of place, they're going to want to correct it, right? And God has given the men the mandate to refine us, to wash us daily with the word. Now, washing us daily with the word, that doesn't necessarily limit to reading the word. Reading the word is just one aspect of that. But washing us with the word means they live it, right? They live in humility. They speak to us kindly and in love. But we have to be able to receive that, right? And even in marriage, okay, for my already kept wives, you can't afford to interpret every correction as criticism. Like my husband and I, we have this saying, like, always think the best of me. Always think the best of me. That means even when I'm saying something to correct or to point out, always think the best of me. So think that it's for a good reason. Think that it's because I care. Think that it's because I love you, right? Not because I'm trying to pick you apart or criticize you, right? You have to learn to filter feedback through your healed ears, not your hurt ones. Your hurt ones are going to tell you they're judging you. They're minimizing you. They're criticizing you. They're picking you apart. That's what your hurt ears are going to tell you. But your healed ones are going to say, let me think the best of them. They want the best for me. If they're pointing something out, it's because they see an area of opportunity for me. I'm an investment to them. They want the best. They love me. That's why they're saying this. My third promise, right? I said that you would understand that women of deep love must first be women of deep growth. So one of my married Kepties recently told me, I didn't realize how immature I was until my husband actually started leading me lovingly, but firmly. Ooh, we had a good laugh. I said, welcome to marriage. Welcome to marriage, right? A lot of the things that we have normalized and ways that we have operated, once you have a keeper, you realize how immature it was. Once you actually have a husband who prides himself in leading, you're going to be like, those little antics, they don't work here, right? I have a keeper who's holding me accountable. He wants the best for me, and I want to be the best for him, right? When a keeper corrects you in love, again, that's not an insult. It's an investment. You're his greatest investment. So he wants to see you mature. So if he's pointing something out, it is because he loves you, right? And when I was talking with this Kepti, I also realized, right? Leadership triggered old wounds she hadn't dealt with. And I'm bringing this up because I think a lot of women will actually be able to relate to this. When you have been hyper independent, when you have not had a leader, when you have had to lead yourself and everyone else around you, when true leadership shows up, you're going to be triggered, right? Because it's not your way is the only way now, right? You're actually going to be challenged a little bit because there's a different way to do things, right? But this particular Kepti, I'm glad that she realized this. And what we ended up talking about is how if she didn't start receiving the leadership, it was going to cost her her connection with her husband, with her keeper. So love will only expand to the level of emotional intelligence and connection. So the deeper that you grow on your own, right? The more you improve, the more you develop your emotional intelligence. For my ladies, the more you lean into your feminine, right? The deeper you can love and be loved. So this is why it's so important that if you want a deep level of love, you have to first have a deep level of growth so that you can actually receive it. Another one of my Kepties actually said, Deonna, I don't think I'm ready for a man telling me what to do. I'm like, I'm sure you're not the only one, right? But I had to lovingly correct her and say, a keeper doesn't tell you what to do. He leads and you respond. That's the lens, right? If you can't be corrected in peace, how will you be covered in peace? So growth is not just for the dating stage, right? Growth is the lifestyle of every woman who wants to be kept in covenant. So here's the shift, right? The commoner mindset is if he really loved me, he'd take me as I am. He'd let me be. That's the commoners. And we already know we don't identify with that here. It's the Kepti way, the Kepti lens. Because he loves me, he wants me to become my best. That's how we receive correction. So listen, I got a recommendation for you, right? Inside the Kepti Academy, we actually develop women for every phase of love, right? Not just the proposal, but also for partnership. So whether you're in the becoming season or the building season, you'll learn how to heal your sensitivity around feedback. You'll be able to differentiate correction from control, and you'll be able to receive leadership without resistance. So here's my invitation. This lesson is to increase your awareness that correction is a gift, right? And this is why love actually requires growth. But the invitation is you can come work on this inside the Kepti Academy with me and all the other Keptis, right? Our next anchor experience is actually happening on November 20th. So you want to join before then. You can actually, I think I put the link in the notes for this live. If not, you can reach out to me at Deonna at DestinationDionna.com, and I will make sure you get the link. Oh, I see Nicole. Hi, one of the Kepties. How do you increase your emotional intelligence? I was speaking this morning with my sister about an argument. I had with my husband. And she said, I need to work on my emotional intelligence. So, you know what? Let's make it plain, right? Emotional intelligence is how you can govern yourself to be in control of your emotions instead of your emotions controlling you. You work on this by first increasing your awareness and being able to receive feedback. So your sister gave you some feedback, said you need to work on that. Instead of being offended, I'm not saying you are, but this is what I recommend. We take that, we sit with that. Okay. And you clearly already have, because you reached out and you asked the question. So you're doing good already. You received the feedback and you're open to it. November 20th at what time? It's 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. 6 p.m. Central Standard Time in the Kepti Academy. That's the only way you can access it. So kudos to you, because you've received it. You're aware. Now, I'm going to challenge you, Nicole. If you choose to accept my challenge, this is only because you're a Kepti. I'm going to give it to you good. I want you to ask your husband. I want you to go to your husband and I want you to say, honey, I realize that I may not have always received your feedback in the best way. And I want to get better at that. Can you please tell me how I'm doing with communication? Tell me one thing I'm doing well and tell me one thing I could improve on. And listen. Don't argue back. Don't justify. Don't explain. Nothing. Just listen. After he's done talking, you say, thank you, baby. I'm going to work on that. Next week, I want you to tell me if you see a difference. And get to being different. Okay? She said, oh, Lord. Listen, chop, chop. We want results. Okay? Nicole is in the academy. So I want you to DM me in the academy and let me know how this works. Let me know how this works. Okay? So listen, in closing, kept wives are first kept women. And that's women who on their own are fit, feminine, and financed. Okay? They don't run from refinement. They welcome it. Because the woman who can be corrected, she can also be covered. So listen, when you are ready for the winning kept wife strategy, who you going to come to? None other than the Kept Wife Strategist. So I'm Deanna. Keep it kept. That sounds about wife. I see y'all.